Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, South West London. My name is Christian Williams, a presenter here at BOTB, where we're here this morning to judge our latest midweek car competition. The competition ran from the 4th to the 10th of June 2020, and just before I hand over to Rebecca once again, massive congratulations to last week's midweek car competition winner, who was Sergio Dari, winning a fantastic Porsche Macan plus £10,000 in cash. I'm now going to pass over to Rebecca Craigie from Onside Law, who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
My name's Rebecca Craigie from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditors, Wilkins Kennedy. I would now like to introduce today's judges. First up, it's Alain Goma.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional footballer, having played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham.
Thanks, Alan. If you can now use the secure link provided and mark on the screen where you think the centre of the ball should be, and then we'll come back to you at the end for you to justify your pick and come to a final panel decision. Next up, Peter Giorgio.
Good morning, my name's Peter Giorgio. I'm a football and futsal referee.
Next up, Hugh Gilroy.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, mentor, tutor and observer.
Next up, Andy Braithwaite.
Thanks, Rebecca. I'm Andy Braithwaite. I'm a football referee, mentor and licensed observer.
Next up, Kieran Fitzgibbon.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I've played football for more than 30 years and I'm now a senior county referee.
Next up, Nigel Hicks.
My name is Nigel Hicks. I've been a football referee at Supply League level for nearly 30 years, and I'm also a Vice President and Director of Middlesex FA.
Okay, Alan, please can you now justify your position?
Thanks, Rebecca. So we've got two players challenging for the ball. I think they come from a different angle. The player in green is coming from the back, and the player in yellow is coming from the left-hand side of the screen. I think the player in green is late on the challenge. You can see he's slightly backwards, and he's trying to block his opponent with his right arm. I think the ball is, probably at the same level on plan as the player in yellow, and I think he's looking horizontally. The player in green is a bit difficult because his eyes are looking in different directions. But I took basically the average between the two. And as I said, the player in yellow is looking horizontally. So where these two eye line meets, this is where I put my cross.
Thank you. Peter, can you please now justify your position?
Yes, we've got the two players in shot there. We have the player in yellow in the forefront, and in the background you've got the guy in green. Like I said, the player in the background in green is obviously further away from the ball itself, trying to influence the player in yellow, who I do believe feel that he is a favourite for the ball. His facial expression is quite interesting. The ball is coming to him. It looks like he's wincing his face, if that's a good expression to use, in anticipation of maybe heading the ball, or it's going to come to his face or whatever, but in that area. And like Alan said, the guy in the background, he's looking towards us as we look in. And because he's that further away, his eye lines do look slightly different. So I've gone with the centre of his eyes, as in bridge of his nose, for a direction of where I think the ball is, and then cross-reference with the player in yellow I've got it slightly different to Align. I've got it slightly lower than horizontal, only slightly, but I do believe he's slightly looking down, and where those two eye lines are intersection with the yellow and the green, that's where I put my centre of the ball, which is the green cross as you see it.
Thank you. Hugh, please can you now justify your position?
Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, mine is the blue cross. For me, as looking at this image, I think the ball's in the foreground. Player in yellow for me was looking slightly below horizontal. Looks like his eyes looking down very slightly. I think, yeah, the orange player is challenging. You can see him pulling the shirt of the yellow player. He's trying to get to the ball because it's in the foreground and closer to the player in yellow. And I just felt he was looking, from looking at his eye line, the player wearing green, I felt he was looking up and to the right slightly, particularly from his left eye, or the right eye as we're looking at it. So that's why I felt was over slightly to the right. And the yellow player for me hasn't started to move to play the ball yet, so I did think that made sense with it being that little distance away from him. And that's what I've put across there.
Thank you. Andy, can you please now justify your position?
Thanks, Rebecca. I'm the orange cross in the picture. As has been said before, I feel that the guy in yellow is about to deal with the ball, whether it's a straight header. I feel that his eye line is almost horizontal. It's very similar to Alan's and even Kieran's, almost horizontal to where we're looking at the picture. The guy in green further back, as has been said, he's trying to fend him off. But I think there's a slight red herring which some people might be getting mixed up with. On each of their pupils, the ones we can see, two from the guy in green and one from the guy in yellow, there is a white dot which is probably a reflection, possibly from the light from sort of from the stadium lights, etc. But people might think that that is the pupil. Obviously, the pupil is a darker bit. I've taken the angle of his head and made sure that the lines of paths have crossed. That's why I've placed the centre of my ball where I have done there.
Thank you. Kieran, can you please justify your position?
Thanks, Rebecca. I think I agree more or less with all my colleagues. I just feel that neither player is yet in the position they're about to play the ball. I think the player in green back is lunging himself in the direction of where he thinks the ball is going to be when he gets there. I think his eye, I took a lot more from his left eye, the right eye we're looking at it, and I think the ball's a little bit further to the left than some of my colleagues. I think the player in yellow is going to get the ball first, and I think he's positioning himself, putting his arm across the player in green to prevent him from getting the ball. But I'm not sure that it's clear how he's going to play the ball. I'm not sure he's going to head the ball because the ball seems to be coming in certainly no higher than horizontal from his eye line. So I think it's going to come in low, but he doesn't seem to be in a position to chest the ball. That's why I placed my ball a little bit further away, because I didn't think he was yet ready to play the ball.
Thank you. Nigel, please can you now justify your position?
Thanks, Rebecca. Good morning, everyone. Right, well, very similar to what a number of my colleagues have said. I do think in 3 dimensions, I think the ball's probably slightly closer to us than the players, going from the angle of the yellow player's face, because he's slightly turned towards us. Agree with Alan that he is looking horizontally, I think, or possibly just slightly down, which is why my cross, the purple cross, is slightly lower than the level of his eyes horizontally. But I think because in thinking 3-dimensionally, I think the player in green, I agree his eyes are not lined up or focused on a single spot. I think that's probably because he's looking towards us and the ball's very close. So I took the middle distance between those two, drawing eye lines for each of his eyes. I think the ball's very close, so that's why his eyes are out of focus. He's actually looking at an object that's very near to him, and at a similar level. So put my cross between those eye lines. That's why I placed my cross there.
Thanks, judges. Alan, as the main judge, could you now come to a panel decision with the other 5 judges? For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 6 individual selections.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Hello, gentlemen, again. I think we kind of agree, most of us, on the the heights of the ball. I think we all think that is roughly horizontal. So I'm going to start drawing a few lines. First from the player in yellow. Yeah, effectively, it's quite a narrow band. Now, from the player in green, I think it's quite spread. I think I understand that, I think we kind of all agree that, both eyes are looking in different directions. And his right eye. Okay, so yeah, we've got 5 of us, roughly, in the same area, and yeah, we've got Kieran, who is slightly on the right hand side. Kieran, so what? So I believe your judgment is based mainly on his left eye.
Yeah, mainly on his left eye. I also felt that the player in yellow, I couldn't see how he was playing the ball yet, so I felt the ball was a little bit further away from him. He was more protecting his position, but not in a position he doesn't look like he's going to chest the ball or head the ball. I also felt the player in green was kind of lunging in the direction of where he thought the ball was going, perhaps a lot more than looking directly at the ball, so looking generally in the direction where he's going, because he's got his arm on this player in yellow. But I can see that the other 5 of you are much closer. So, if everybody disagrees with what I'm saying, I'm quite happy for mine to come out there, because I don't think it matches the 5 of yours. I think the 5 of yours are quite close.
No, but yeah, what I think personally is, based on his left eye, depending on how far he is from the ball, this could be possible eventually. What does everyone thinks? Let's say, for example, Nigel, I think you're a bit more on the left-hand side.
Yeah, judging the green player's eyes, I just didn't see his the right eyes. We're looking at it. His left eyes as being as far over. I thought it was much nearer in sight line to well, obviously where I put my cross, but I mean whether the player's about to head the ball or not, it's hard to tell. I mean, he could well be a defender, so he's probably if he's a defender, he could just simply be trying to to get to the ball first with anything he can get his body to. Certainly, the green player behind just appears to be trying to interfere with that. I don't think he's going to reach it. So I think the reason his eyes are looking slightly different directions, as I say, I think the ball's travelling at speed and it's close to him. But yeah, I'm slightly to the on the left of that group. But I feel that also he's looking the player in yellow is looking slightly lower than horizontal. Focusing on his eyes. So that's why I think the ball's quite close there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see where that group is. I understand what Kieran's saying.
Yeah, and Hugh, I think you mentioned also his left eye. So you think your judgment is based also on his left eye, is it?
Yeah, I just felt. I agree with what Kieran said. I don't think it's going to be right next to him, because although I do think he's going to play it ahead of the green player, I don't think it's that close to him yet. And yeah, from his left eye, I felt he was looking where I put mine as the blue. Obviously, we're more clustered as a 5. I don't know what it changes to if you take Kieran, but
yeah, so just
I don't think it's that far over, but I do think from his left eye, he was looking slightly to the right as we look at it.
To the right, yeah. So if we remove Kieran, you know, he's right of the in the middle of the 5 crosses here. So what do you think, Kieran? Do you think, you know, if I put the ball here, I guess it's quite far, you know, to the left compared to what you initially thought. But
yeah, but as I said, I agree. I mean, there are 5 of you who've got very similar agreement about where you think it is. I mean, it's not obvious from the player in yellow how he's going to play the ball, whether he's going to head it or what he's going to do, whether he's going to block the player. It's not clear the player. I think we all seem to agree the player in green is not going to get the ball, and his eyes are looking in different directions.
Okay.
But I think that given the 5 of you are that close, I think that would be the fairest decision to put.
Okay, I think, you know, if we go with the average as it is, you know, without Kieran, you know, it covers, you know, all the crosses.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, if we put the ball here, I think, to me personally, I think it works. I don't know what everybody thinks. Peter, we haven't heard from you.
I can see where Kieran's coming from in how far away the ball is from the player in yellow, but I just think the angle was too horizontal for me. So if he had placed it lower down, I can see a better explanation. So I do believe that if Kieran's happy to have himself removed from there, I think where it is at the moment, covering all those the rest of the 5, I'm happy with that.
Okay. Andy, you're happy with that also?
Yes, Alan. As I said before, I think that the reflective white spots on the pupils of the 3 eyes we can see are probably deceptive to possibly people thinking, you know, it's further over. But as I said, I believe that where that is there, that looks to me about right.
Okay. So so is everyone happy with the average as it is without Kieran?
Yes.
Yes, happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If everyone's happy with that, Alan, if you could now hit submit.
Okay. Ready to submit.
The coordinates selected are 1397 and 1025. These coordinates will now be passed to Wilkins Kennedy to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.